Ideas now.
Okay. We're gonna be live.
Facebook
And
or
Facebook and YouTube. If you could go to your Facebook and share from my we Facebook friends, right?
I think so. Let me double check. I got power this time. Power back up. Second here.
Hey, 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 hey.
1 second. I like the responses that came in last night. I was impressed.
Yeah. Let me see. What's up? What's up? What's popping? Anybody joining in? Jump in them comments. Let me know you're here. We're gonna get it set up. Give me a share too. Give me a share as soon as you jump on. Give me a share. What's your website?
GRapmusic.com. 4GRAPMUSIC.com. I know we friends. You got Wi-Fi in here?
Mm-hmm. It's going to be capital. Let me write it down.
CARO.
My name is Kay.
I mean K. I'm sorry. So I sent you a question.
Okay, cool. Oh, terrible.
Now, if you lie, just tag me in it and I'll share.
Okay.
Tag me.
Hey, 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 welcome, welcome, welcome. We're getting it started. Give me a couple seconds to let a few folks get on in here. Give me a share, please. How should your page come up? Ooh. Having trouble. Hello, hello, hello. Who we got in the house tonight? Who we got in there? Can you tag yourself? Because I am struggling to find how to tag you. Oh, cool. Hello, everybody. We're going to get started in just a minute. Give me a share. Come on in. Don't forget YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hey, what's up, Sean? Thank you for tuning in. All right, we're going to get it cracking. Let me see. I have a bad habit of forgetting I have a mouse sitting over here. All right. Let's go. Ah, what's popping, brother?
Not much. Hey, just happy to be a monster living all I can say.
I know that's right.
All is well though. Yourself?
Man, it's been a crazy, dope week. Interesting. I had a lot going on as always, but again, excited and happy to be among the living. Whew, it's been a week.
I get it.
It's been a week. But everything is good. I had a couple losses in my family though, so I'm kind of just like exhausted preparing to bury some family members in the next couple of days, multiple this week. So it's been
that there has been just going on for just whew.
Yes. But God is still good.
It really is. Yeah,
Man, I'm excited to have you here in the studio with me. We did a promo video
we
a
did.
few weeks ago for your play that you're starring in coming up, Delivering Our Mail.
Mail.
And man, that was an interesting setup. That was my first time actually doing a remote recording like that.
Really?
And I was so displeased with most of the content. I mean, it did not work out as I had planned, but we here. We here. And yeah, we're gonna get into it, man. Y'all are in for a treat. My man Jay is an actor, he's a writer, he is a rapper. He has so much going on. You produce too, don't you?
Yeah, yeah.
Producer, all the things, just an all around creative and entrepreneur. And we're going to get into his story. He has a dynamic book and some things coming up that I wanted to share with you all. So let's get into it. Brother, welcome to the Blowing Bubbles
Thank you
podcast.
for having me.
This is the live at 8:45 edition. So we have, for those of you who haven't been following us closely as you should, we have different segments now. We have BBP in the streets. That's when I'm out. We have live at 8:45, which is Wednesday nights at 8:45. And then the official Blowing Bubbles podcast is pre-recorded. So make sure you go check out all of the videos on YouTube. That's where they are. I'm not posting them on all the socials anymore because I want you to go to YouTube. We have a whole little podcast ecosystem building. So got to get over there. We got some dope interviews. And there is now. What's up? I'm excited. I want to know y'all here. If you are on YouTube, let me know. Let me know. Jump in those comments. If you're on Facebook, you'll need to go to StreamYard.com to just approve your access to your Facebook, and then your comments will show. Otherwise, we won't see them unless we're looking. We're both looking at our phones though, but that's a little distracting. We want to be here with you, okay? Here. All right. So where you from, Jay?
I am from Florida, the Panhandle, Panama City to be exact.
Ah, nice. And how long you been in the metro area, Atlanta?
A little over 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And from what I remember, storms brought you, that was kind of the
No, that's actually
catalyst what made you come up
that's
here.
actually a good way to put it. It was a physical storm, and then there were life storms.
Mhm.
So that's a perfect example. We went through Hurricane Michael in the lateral part of 2019, and at the top of the year leading into 2020, obviously COVID and everything up under the sun started happening.
Mhm.
Up until the point where my favorite basketball player died.
Shout out to Kobe.
Cried when Kobe died.
Man.
But actually, 30 days after that, my sister, she passed, and 2 months later, I was just at this place where like borderline depression had started setting in. I was looking at the condition of our city. I was still trying to process, losing my sister. It's something, even though I had already lost a brother years prior, he was a half brother, and we weren't as close as
You and your sister.
my sister, right? You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So that was a little different for me. Not to mention the fact, I was tasked with the responsibility of making her final arrangements. So all that there was a learning experience within itself. So, as things just kind of went on, I said just borderline depression had started to set in. And God said, your time is up here in Florida. Here I am.
Here you are.
Hot
Wow. Hot Atlanta.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get to Florida though. South Florida. I want to go to Miami, maybe a little further south even, maybe the Keys.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get down there.
No, South Florida is a little different from the Panhandle. Panama City, where I'm from, it used to be deemed as the spring break capital of the world. But
Okay.
but things have since changed. To the point where right after Hurricane Michael, one of the cornerstones of our community was the Panama City Mall, and I visited there, a lot here recently. And forgive me in advance, I'm very transparent, I'm very direct, I'm very straightforward. Uh, so that's just who I am. But what I noticed is the things that mattered in our community, they didn't put a lot of emphasis on. For instance, like, here it is 4 or 5 years later. And I think, recently they just started, focusing on the MLK Rec Center, which is, the cornerstone for our Black youth. Uh, the Panama City Mall. Most people Saturday, Sunday afternoon, it's a nice place to go hang out with your family. But now after the hurricane, when money is allocated to rebuild the city, you got to go across the bridge just to entertain your family. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's one of the beautiful things about being here in Atlanta. We see a lot of our own people.
Yes.
In different lights.
Yes. All levels in the
Yeah.
socioeconomic stratosphere in Atlanta, you can see it.
Yeah.
Very, very true.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. Everywhere you go, it has its pros and its cons.
Definitely.
But I will say that there's definitely a change of scenery and the benefits that have come along with that. The change of scenery has definitely been beneficial. And not to say, that I didn't enjoy my time in Panama City, because Panama City made me who I am in more ways than one. I mean,
okay.
I'm gonna say that respectfully, but it's all good. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy for the things that are actually happening, and obviously the things that God is doing in my life.
Wonderful, wonderful. I love to hear that. And I like your disposition, in spite of literal storms in your life and in the environment, you still have such a bright outlook on everything. And that's great. That's great. Some people don't bounce back. And that's I said it without meaning to be, drop that pun, but his book is titled Bouncing Back. Bouncing or bounce?
Bounce back.
Bounce back.
Yeah. Bounce back. Yeah.
Bounce back. Some people just got it. When I met Jay and he got my book, he said, I got the male version of your book.
Yeah.
That's that. Let's get into that. Like, for the couple people that may not know, I wrote a book called Residue, Growing from Crush to Crushing It. And my brother here has a book called Bounce Back. Tell us about your book.
So, for those of you all who don't know, Bounce Back is a memoir where I actually tell my life story in a very strategic way. What I did is I took the blueprint of T.D. Jakes, Woman Do I Loose, where he basically gave biblical principles and talked about how one could be emotionally healed. Or Steve Harvey's Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man, where he used everyday work scenarios to give advice on relationships. Being born into chaos, literally, basketball became my outlet. I mean, and I was artistic in a lot of other different ways too. Music later came on the scene, but basketball became my outlet to, deal with the stroma, not the trauma, the stroma. Stroma. That's a combination of stress and trauma. So the stroma.
That's double trouble.
Yeah, the stroma
Sheesh.
of what I was.
You gonna stress me out and traumatize me? Yeah. Golly. Hey, Maria Wheeler, one of my super watchers. Hey. So the strama. Now, when you say born into chaos, can you elaborate more on what that means to you?
So us as black men and women, we often come into environments to where there is no stability
Mm.
for our culture, and that was where my story began. I was a byproduct of that, you know, born into the lineage of two alcoholic parents, um, in and out of foster care,
Mm.
uh, violated when I was 10 years old as a man. And of
Mm.
course, you know, statistics say that when things like that happen, you know, I probably should be batting for the other team.
Mhm.
Uh, but, you know, for me, it just made me real promiscuous. And, you know, I had to deal with that. You know, that's just part of what I dealt with. Then, of course, you know, just watching all this function, you know, unhealthy relationships being presented to me, and I'm thinking that's the norm. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? So I found myself mimicking that same
What you
behavior.
saw,
Yeah,
yeah.
just tolerating foolishness. And you know, then just like I said, just trust being broken at an early age because your biological father's not only rejecting you, but he ain't even protecting you. Just
Mm.
there are people that should be protecting you. You know, they're failing you time after time after time after time again. And so finally, it just kind of got to a point whereas I grew up guarded
Mhm.
in more ways than one. I was always defensive minded, just walking around not knowing who I could or who I couldn't trust. And every time I would tell myself, all right, I'm a, you know, they seem genuine. You know, let me go out down a little bit. And I turn my back, and before you know it, that
Mm.
knife go right through the back. And I'm like, ugh. And you know, after a couple of times of that there, you know, you just kind of get to a point like, man,
Ain't no more.
yeah, bump this. Like, you know, enough is enough.
Yeah.
And so, uh, and then, you know, we're not even going to talk about just the being misunderstood portion, you know, people passing judgment because they're so caught up in being born into their silver spoon life, you
Mm.
know.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, Also, that's how they acted. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like they didn't have the issues on their own. They were, you know, busy passing judgment, not really taking the time to find out what was the root cause of all the trauma,
Mhm.
you know.
So you felt people were just passing judgment on you versus helping you, protecting you, or just even trying to understand what you were going through.
I mean, a lot of that went on. I mean, I will go on record to say that there were some that did uh, pour into me, but that was primarily in my city of Apalachicola, where I was actually born.
Okay.
You know, I had some teachers that you know poured into me. Some of my early coaches, my early basketball coaches, they tried to pour into me. Even my science teacher,
Mhm.
he saw the potential in not just myself but a lot of the others. Uh, and you
Shout out
know,
to teachers, man. The teachers who
yeah,
are good teachers who take the time, the extra time, and pour into our babies. Shout out to all of you.
absolutely.
Yes. Now, what's your birth order?
So I have an older sister named Rosetta. Then it was myself. Then it was my sister Alethea, which is the one who
Who passed
passed
away?
away.
Okay.
Then there's my sister Jamie. Then my baby sister, her name is actually Samantha. But when a lot of this dysfunction was going on, she wasn't really in the picture yet. You know, she
Mm.
didn't She had the ability to be with our mother for quite some time
Okay.
until she became a teenager. But yeah, that's the order. And my sister that you mentioned, who's the oldest, she's the one. So one of the things that I didn't mention, just going back to this um, series of tragic events that I experienced, I had both a sister and a brother both shot. My
Mm.
older sisters, who's still alive and well, Rosetta, um, she got shot during an isolated event with a shotgun.
My
I
God.
talk about that in my book. Whereas she ended up losing one of her eyes, and now she wears a glass eye, has facial scarring, and she still has buckshot fragments in her head to
Mm.
remind us of all of that horrific night.
Now,
Um,
was that random or it was
it was just the devil being busy.
violence
It,
perpetrated by someone she knew?
um, yeah, it was a family friend of my mother.
Mm. Wow.
Her and her husband came in from the club arguing one night. An argument ensued, and her husband picked my sister up to shield him from being shot, but the inevitable still happened. Yeah,
Okay.
and we were all there to
A
witness
grown
it.
man picked up a young girl, a child, to shield himself from being shot. Did he? So you said the inevitable happened. Did he got shot
I
too?
get no, no,
So he,
he's alive and well, but
wow.
I think it was a situation where I don't. I was a kid, man, but I remember like it was yesterday. Like it's almost like he didn't think that she would do it.
Mm.
He didn't think she would pull the trigger.
With the
Or
child there.
yeah, but
Wow.
yeah, and of
That's
course,
tough.
then you think about it, like alcohol played a big part in all
Mm-hmm.
this here, and so you got to think about all the demons that they're fighting all in one
Absolutely.
moment. I mean, you got rage on the scene.
Mm-hmm.
You're intoxicated, so you clearly ain't making a rational decision.
Absolutely.
You got one individual who's been driven by their emotion. Obviously, to pick up a shotgun, you had to be really,
Yeah.
you had to be pretty pissed off.
Yeah.
Uh, and then this other individual, like you just asked me, okay, what possessed you to pick up a kid?
Yeah. That's
So like it's just so much going on in that one moment
in that
here.
scenario.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Well, thank God she survived.
yeah,
Wow. This platform consistently brings me moments where I'm like,
yeah.
wow. And a lot of times people get caught up in their circumstances and feeling sorry for themselves. And then all you have to do is just listen to someone else. My goodness.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because throughout the course of my life, um, no matter what I encounter, I just found myself over the years just getting just angrier and angrier and just so guarded and like even just like I don't know, just not trusting the soul and didn't realize how much damage I was doing to myself. Like I suffered with stress headache for years. Just
Mm,
uh, but eventually, I got to a point to where I didn't care no more. Like through God, I got to a point where I don't care about what people think no more. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. Like because we're all imperfect beings
mhm.
in this imperfect world.
Absolutely.
So what gives you the right or make you feel like you got the audacity to turn your nose up at me? You know what
Yes.
I'm saying? You bleed red blood just like me.
You better believe it.
your poop stank just like mine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, come on, for real. So when I say I don't care anymore, I don't care. And I'm not reckless with it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's like,
But that's a level of freedom, to just not be bound by the opinions of others.
correct.
I remember when I got there. It's like you are so liberated in that moment because you can. I don't focus on nothing but me and God. Like,
And it's funny you say that because that was the thing that changed my mindset. I realized that you ain't got no heaven or hell to put
put me
me
in.
in.
That's right.
The Bible even talks about those who say, Lord, Lord, won't even get in themselves. But the thing that really kind of put the ice on the cake for me is like, when it comes judgment day, I'm not standing before you.
How about that?
I'm standing before God.
That's right.
So are you.
That's
You
right.
know what I'm saying? And because I learned the power behind pro-choice, having the choice about how I respond to negative energy, that's when I took my power back.
Yes.
So, and so, yeah, I've gone through hell. I've gone through hell. A lot of us have, but
Mhm.
you know, I can only speak for myself personally. I've gone through hell, and I got tired of being beat down by word curses, people
Mm.
that were not genuine, people that had their own selfish motives, people that, you know, again, sitting on their high horse thought they were better. And I'm like, nah, like the same God that blessed Abraham, he can bless Jay Gathers. You know, it rained on the just as well as the unjust.
Unjust.
You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? And rest assured, as long as we walk this earth, as long as there's seed time and harvest time, we're all gonna have our good seasons. We're all gonna have our bad seasons.
That's right.
Like even like literally right now, most people don't know because I don't complain a lot anymore. But I'm literally going through a physical injury that I've been dealing with for almost 6+ months.
Mm.
On a job injury, uh, trying to rehab, literally having to learn how to walk again. Yeah, I know
Mm-hmm.
y'all don't see the crush, but it's in here.
Yeah.
I'm coming down. But
Yeah.
you know, a real life. I'm going through a real life bounce back season right now. The way I've learned to appreciate the little things and to add insult to injury. I've learned that there are actually people out there that don't care about you or your livelihood.
At
And
all.
when the workforce taught me that there, you know, it's like that's that's next level. Like you can be walking around here about to have a foot cut off, and they don't care.
At all.
They don't care.
You just triggered me. I learned that so crystal clearly, and I can't remember what year it was, maybe '04. And um my man at the time was working at this place, and I had a restaurant, and I would take them lunch a lot. This particular day I took lunch, and it was a small like factory. They fabricated steel beams. So it was a small family owned company. So I had the liberty to walk in there and talk with the guys and hang out. So I had taken everybody food this day. And um we were in Youngstown, Ohio. Got maybe not 2-3 minutes from there, and he called me back. He said, "We just had a collapse." I said, "Huh?" He said, "We just had a collapse." He, huh? And it was not registering to me. I turned around, went back, and y'all dirty dogs know who you are. They had the men, they were fabricating steel beams, they were cutting them. My man worked the saw. So he was cutting them, and his buddy was operating an overhead crane to stack them over, like on that side over there. They never knew that this place was built on a basement. The whole thing, they got so much weight, and boom, thing collapsed. And the saw where my guy was at working was right here, and like where you were at was a hole. just like a 60-foot hole in this whole building. Our one friend, because we had become friends with this dude and his wife, he was down there cut in half. Another man, he was crushed. And I got back in there and I'm standing there at the edge of the hole, and like everybody's in shock. Like I'm looking at my buddy T. Shout out to T. He had a lot of severe injuries, but he was good. He made it. But the other man, he did not survive, the one that was crushed. And it was so sickening how not only did they not shut down, they tried to fault the men for stacking the stuff. They were doing what they so when you got these jobs that you are sold out to, trust me, they don't care if you drop dead the next day, maybe the next shift, they will have you replaced. So I'm sorry, I didn't even that story came out. That's been 20 years, but that right there, it literally like triggered me. Like, no, they don't care. Companies don't care about you, and you have to put your well-being first. Whew,
That's
I ain't
exactly
never
the
told that story.
direction I was going, because I've always been working on my own craft, trying to establish my own business behind the scenes and so forth. And I really feel like in this season right here, God is showing me exactly what I need to do. And in all the bad seasons of my life, the one thing I have learned, whether it's been in the workforce, whether it's been in church ministries, whether it's been out there in the streets, I have learned how not to treat people. And because I have learned that lesson, I know whatever I put my hand to, I'm gonna be successful at it. I'm gonna be good
Amen.
because I have learned how not to treat people.
Yes.
And
I love that.
yeah,
I love that.
and I think just in general, people need to learn that same lesson too. I mean, and I think that's why this God's greatest commandment is to love your neighbor.
To love, yes.
To love your neighbor like you love yourself.
Yes.
Because your neighbor, number one, he or she is not gonna always look like you, share the same beliefs, different cultures, different backgrounds. I mean, the list just kind of goes on and on. But the biggest thing is we all deal with real life situations, and people need to understand that being the individual that God created you to be, you don't know who you can be a blessing to. You don't know that you may be the only Jesus that they know, because they walk outside of a physical church structure. And so in that very moment that you're encountering this stranger, your neighbor, it may be your interaction with that individual that either push them over the ledge or put them up off the ledge.
Absolutely.
Or let's take it to another level. Or push their right buttons. You say something out the way to trigger them to the highest low in festivity, and now they're going to shoot up a school.
Absolutely.
Or a church.
You don't know what somebody is dealing with.
Exactly.
You don't.
So you always have to be conscientious of just show love.
Yes. Yeah, just because you don't have to look for anything in return. It costs you nothing to be kind.
That matter, that's called mentality. Smile and wave.
Absolutely.
It's really that simple.
It really is. I can hear my uncle now. He was our pastor back home, and he said, be careful not to blow your witness. You could be in a bad place going through some things, and you act out in this one moment, even if you may kind of sort of be justified in how you feel. Then the next time somebody who saw you that you may not even know saw you, they could come visit a church, and you standing up in the choir stand. Now they don't believe nothing. They don't want to hear the pastor. They can't receive any word because they see you and they remember how you acted out. Don't blow your witness.
Or don't allow anyone, never allow anyone to cause you to lose your integrity.
Yeah, man, that part. Especially that.
Yeah. It's funny because scripture talks about, how a soft response reap hot coals on somebody's forehead is like they get mad at you.
That's that kill them with kindness.
Yeah, because
you don't match their energy. That's
yeah.
too much of y'all matching energy.
I'll never forget a
You
situation.
disturbed your own peace.
I had
There's some water right here, brother, if you want some.
All right, thank you. I remember a situation where I had an encounter with, it was one of my son's mother's uh, boyfriend. Well, it was her baby daddy. She had a son with this other guy before me, then me. And for whatever reason, he just never liked me. Like we had never spoke. He just never liked me. One day, I was over at an associate's house. I'm not even referring to him as a friend. I thought he was a friend. That's another story for another day. But in that moment, he said something that, did kind of stand out. He said, Jay, why you do that? Like, do what? He like, man, why you always feel like you got to have the last word? Like, you think it make you strong? He said, but actually show how weak you are. Because I responded to him barking at me. I just had a quick fuse. I thought about it for a couple of days. I said, you know what? He was right. And so I literally asked God to take away that type of anger because I will pop off in a minute. And I wanted more temperance. And he did. And now I literally get mad because I can't stay mad with people when I want to. It's like I literally want to stay ticked off for hours. But it's like, now don't get me wrong. I'm nobody's doormat.
Yeah.
But I just don't give that type of energy
absolutely
anymore.
I'm laughing because I can totally relate. Like, it's some folks on here who I grew up with that know me. Oh, I'm so different and I love it.
What was so crazy after that encounter with him, I would say about a year, maybe two later, New Year's Eve, could make this up if I wanted to. We just happened to be at the same convenience store. And he spoke to me for the first time.
Wow.
Just said, Happy New Year, bro. Cool. Weeks later, we ended up exchanging numbers. And we got to talking. And he started sharing stories, and I was like, he said, you know what, Jay? These are his exact words. Street dude, thug.cat. He said, you know what, Jay? He said, I feel bad. I said, well, what's up? He said, man, all these years, he said, I walked around not liking you based on things I heard about you. He said, man, I'm sitting here talking to you. He said, you ain't nothing like they said you was. And he said, bro, he said, man, I'm sorry.
That takes a big person to first of all to admit it.
Yeah, he said, I'm sorry. So all these things I heard about, he said, bro, you ain't nothing like that. He said, I'm sorry.
Hey, Kenny, hey, we got a few people on here. We got Henry, Kenny, Nixon Davis. Would love to be interviewed. DM me, man. Let's figure out what you got going on. Yes, that's incredible. I love it when people have that revelation about me. And a lot of people always thought I was just mean. And then people to get to know me, they're like, no, you like really one of the nicest people I know. Like, I know. But that life makes us create these tougher exteriors. And you just get tired of being tried. So you want to put that shell up. You can be soft inside, but don't mean you weak. My daddy taught me the difference between being meek and being weak. And I said, Dad, the first time he said that to me, I didn't understand it all the way. He said, I'm strong because I choose not to hurt you. If I was weak, I couldn't hurt you. He said, don't get it twisted. I'm meek in spirit, not weak in flesh, in the sense of you just gonna run over me. No, you're not.
Well, it's funny you should say that because I have learned the power in humility.
Yes, Lord.
Humility is what actually make you stronger. Like, I'll never forget, there was we were dealing with back home, we had a situation in my last religious organization. I can say it like
Okay.
that. And there was some
Luminescent. Hey, fam. Got Luminescent on YouTube. I'm listening to you, brother.
so there were some things being said about me. We had got pulled aside in this little side room or whatever, and come to find out, the leadership was misinformed about what they had heard, but they had said some things about me uh, prior to that happening.
Without having all the information.
Right.
Okay.
And I want to be very clear. It's not my late spiritual leaders. They were amazing to me.
Okay.
I miss them dearly. But so they said some things about me. And 5 minutes later, now you're trying to apologize to me. Out the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks.
Better believe
you said how you felt about me. So in that moment there, I always used to try to tell my wife, like, look, man, you're a reflection of me. So don't give them the energy that they want. But in that moment there, I understood she was trying to protect me. So she asked him, she said, how many cheeks can a man turn? How many cheeks can he turn? Like, because she said it's one thing to him tell me all the things that he dealt with before I came on the scene. She said, but it's different now that I'm seeing it up close. How many cheeks can a man turn?
You got your good thing, man. She defending her baby. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, Mrs. 4G.
And so, but she couldn't understand why I still loved on her. And couldn't understand, like, even why I remained there. And my response was, I said, look, all I'm responsible for is how I respond.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm responsible for. I let God deal with them. And I said, and when it's time for us to move on, I said, trust me, we'll know. So I said, but again, what I learned in that season is how not to treat people. It takes a certain level of tolerance to allow anybody to take shots on you on any level. A lot of people get up every day, they go to their jobs, they hate their job. They literally, but the pros and cons is, I hate this job. I gotta provide for my family.
That bank account ring every 2 weeks. You keep going.
Yeah. Or, I mean, you really have to decide on what's important versus what's not. But when you consider the serenity prayer, you really have to only focus on what you can control.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm telling you, like, stress will kill you. People don't understand stress will kill you. And if you give in to that foolishness or that negative energy, stress will kill you.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, it will. My goodness. Now, what are some of your go-to coping mechanisms that you've developed over the years?
It's definitely prayer. Definitely prayer. Or just, so a lot of things I like to do. I like road trips. I like solo road trips. This is my best time to actually commune with God while I'm driving, and some of the best time to speak to me. I like the beach. It's just something about the calming of the water. But more importantly, I mean, the pen to the pad, whether it be music or whether it basically be me writing out my thoughts for my next book. But my go-to would basically be in those arenas right there.
Yeah. Love it. Yeah. Well, I have not done this since we've been on here, and I'm going to show y'all one of my favorite coping mechanisms. I blow bubbles. Y'all know how I do.
I like you.
I'm gonna do it one more time. Ah, you got your bottle right there. There's some for you. But yeah, that's really how it started. Me, I had some stuff I couldn't do anything else about. These bubbles are clingy.
You know what I would like to do though, actually get into
What's that?
once I get back to my health. Um, I actually want to start just letting out some stress on a boxing bag. Just I feel like my former years, I would have made a heck of a boxer because I have some serious pain tolerance. I used to already love to fight. Um, Now, let me be very clear about that. I was never the one to instigate
Right,
any
right.
fight,
Yeah.
but if you brought it to me,
Woo-wee.
shame on you.
You
Uh,
sure?
yeah,
I
yeah,
used to ask you, you sure?
yeah. I never instigate fights.
Yeah.
I never ran to them. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even when the crap happened in school. Like I wasn't the one to run to it. That's like I never really did that.
Yeah.
I even tell a story in my book where one happened on like Valentine's Day. I think it's the night that Buster Douglas beat Mike
Beat
Tyson.
Mike Tyson.
Yeah,
Oh, I remember that day vividly.
and fight broke out at my high school, and there's a bunch of my black friends, and you know some of my a white friend of mine because I thought the other was my white friends too, but that's another story for another day.
Yeah.
But needless to say, when things escalated, I said, man, I don't want no part of this here. All dressed up, fresh to death. I walk into the crib, and about 30 seconds to a minute later, I get ambushed from behind. I feel somebody hit me. And I turn over, and I realize it's my classmate, the white guy who had just got beat up. And he was so weak. And I stood there with him until help came. Well, later on that night, I go down to, the blocks where my adrenaline was still going. I should have took my behind home. 5-0 come out there asking for a group of people, and then they threw my name there too, and I was like, the next day he come by the house. Finally we go to court for that little situation, and bunch of his Caucasian friends they get up there, they lie on me. They blatantly lie on me.
Oh wow.
He gets up there, he tell the truth. He validates everything. He said, I don't know who I hit. He said he never hit me. He said he actually helped me. And judge said, Mr. Gallus, you're free to go. And what I learned about that situation there was, well, recently here, God actually revealed something to me that was so obvious. I mean, it's amazing how things can be just right there in black and white, but you don't get the revelation until years later. But it hit me. I said, hold on. I said, for 5-0 to come down to the blocks and ask for me, I said, somewhere in the mix, they had to probably say or try to put it off on me, being the one who
did
beat
the assault.
him up,
yeah,
when I was the one who helped them. As obvious as that was to me, I said, wow. But again, even that situation there, I ran away from the fight. And it came to me. Totally innocent, blame shifted, like, but and I've thought about him, for some years, like, because we live in an environmental society right now where that kind of stuff still happens.
Absolutely.
And it's nothing that, I don't look at color, ethnicity backgrounds. I love on everybody, you know what I'm saying? Even if they don't, I love my enemies. And rest assured, like, even the ones that, put on the fake smiles and try to wear the masks, I know. Like, I'm gonna tell you, it's one thing that people don't tend to understand when it comes to God speaking to you. referred to as the Holy Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Either they're stupid, they're arrogant, or a combination of both. But if they think that God don't show you things,
He does, whether you want to see it
yeah,
or not.
yeah, exactly.
does.
And a lot of times, I don't like the things I see. I honestly don't,
Yes,
but I
I
respect
get
it.
it.
Yeah,
I get
but
it.
I respect it. Yeah.
He's not that subtle with me, and if I let me ignore it if I want to, because he knows that I know better. Woo!
Yeah.
Uh, once he puts some bass in that voice, that holy voice, oh, I'm probably not gonna like what he says or how he says it the next time. So I learned to heed that voice.
Definitely in our best interest, because I have learned, and I'm pretty sure you as well as others can attest for the fact that a lot of times we're given an outlet. You know, we see those red flags.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yeah.
choose to ignore them, but then we want to kind of shift the blame when the inevitable happens to us. You know what I'm saying? But he gave us an outlet, like you said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried to told you. Now I want to get to this amazing bounce back relaunch party. I am so excited. I get to be a part of this. Like so anybody ever asked you to be a part of something and you kind of sort of agree, but you don't really know what you're getting into? Man, we had a meeting last week and I'm telling you, I was so blown away. I ain't know this thing is about to be so dope. August 18th, the relaunch of his book, Bounce Back. It's a pod party. So there's going to be some podcasters, there's going to be a bunch of celebrities, there's going to be we got some VIP going. You can go to Eventbrite and you can still get a VIP pass. I think they might be sold out. So y'all get on Eventbrite. But we're going to get into that. Tell me, how did this concept come about?
Well, I'm a smart guy, but I can't take all the credit. I got to give a shout out to the brains behind the operation, my business mentor, manager, Saxon Butler,
Okay.
TSB Solutions, G50 Media. She and I had began working together last year, looking to get in funding for my film. Which is an extension of the book.
Of the book, yeah.
Yeah. And so when we sat down and talked, she said to me, she said, Jay, she said, you're different. She like, most people, they're satisfied with, okay, let's go out here, let's do a movie, let's put it on Tubi, and hey, I've accomplished something. She said, but she said, what you have is different. She said, we want to set you up for success and longevity. What is the goal is. And so she had already had wind of my book. She read it. Some other individuals, young ladies, read it, and they loved it.
Okay.
They loved it. The women, they kind of love the drama, but the men, they were pretty intrigued by the way I was able to articulate my internal feelings. And so we talked about a lot of where I was at that moment. I wasn't happy with the exposure that I had received, uh, the lack of support for the first version, and just even though, like I said, it got in the hands of people. She's like, this is big. The very same thing that my spiritual leader spoke on. He said, if you write this book, he said you'll be a millionaire. And in that moment, that I realized, like, wow, I really am touching people. So she said, let's relaunch it. Let's relaunch it. And so I started getting a couple ideas together, talked to a couple of close friends. One of my closest friends, Miss Mason, if you watching, appreciate your advice.
Hey, Miss Mason.
But she said to me, she was, very direct when she said, you need to redo the cover. She said, you need to redo the cover. And, we, she had already read it. So she like, certain things in there that you can probably expound on. And so I addressed a lot of some of the content in there as well, too. Uh, and so we decided to relaunch it.
Okay.
And so then, like yourself, she mentioned to me a pod party. I'm like, huh? And so she broke it down for me. She said a bunch of podcasters all in one place. Like everybody winning. Everybody get to highlight their platform, their craft, your own footage, and you get to do this in the presence of other authors, other podcasters, celebrity guests, and it's going to basically be um, posted on Peachtree TV. And there's others to follow. I mean, believe me when I tell you that because there are so many other outlets that are already interested in what we're doing. And so it started out slow. It really started out slow because, like you said, a lot of people they didn't get it. But I'm very specific with my prayers. I said, Lord, whoever don't mean me no good, keep them away from me. Whoever believe in the vision and whoever you want to be in my next season, let's go win together. And it's just been happening just like that. And I am super, super excited for just her extending her love, knowledge, her expertise to me. And I can't express how much excited I am.
That's beautiful. Yeah. And when you have a team, you have somebody in your corner that's not just there blowing hot air, they're actually helping you make plays and move the needle. That's so important. It's so hard to find that one person, much less a whole team, but somebody who's going to execute according to your vision. Whew.
Or even sometimes, if she gives me advice that I might not necessarily like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But it's still for your good.
Good, exactly. Yes. Because I don't know everything. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't but I will say she has taught me so much in such a short period of time. And the most important thing she has taught me is keep your mouth shut. Let them sleep on you. Hey. And just, understand that today's price won't be the same tomorrow. And because when you know your value and your worth and know that God,
I had to blow bubbles on that. Today's price won't be the same tomorrow.
I mean, because people they tend to make the mistake of thinking that you're successful like thereof is contingent on you being a part of something, not understanding that God is your source. Like you don't have to rub elbows with this person, that person, whatever the case may be. When you are, right. I am connected to the source. The
source.
The earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof. That includes money,
everything,
resources, people, everything across the board. And what you want to help me do, somebody else will.
He's gonna bring the ones.
And once you get that revelation, life is so much easier.
Yes, I just made a mess of these bubbles, y'all. I've had this bottle of bubbles for a year. I just spilled it. This is real life. This is live. Footage.
I didn't get wet, by the way, though. You know what I'm saying? Like God covered me and protected me.
But I stay popping. Yeah, that's funny. But tell the people where they can get tickets for the first bounce back pod party.
Absolutely. So you go to eventbrite.com, bounce back book relaunch pod party. The link is also on my Instagram page, my Facebook page as well. But eventbrite.com. Yeah.
Nice. And that is August 18th.
From 2 p.m. to 6 p.m.
We're gonna be lit. I get to sit on a panel with some pretty incredible people. I mean,
Yeah, we actually, Dr. Shay, if you're watching, I want to tell you publicly, I want to give you flowers before you even get here to my city. I really appreciate you. So what we did, there's no I in team. What we did was we brought in a actual therapist, behavioral therapist. I don't want to hop, I don't want to jack up her accolades. I let her pretty much do that.
She got a resume now.
Yeah, when she gets to the city or whatever. But actually, that's another discussion that Saxy and I had, and we wanted to offer solutions to both men and women who have dealt with all of the things I listed and more.
Mm-hmm.
And so
I believe she specializes in childhood traumas.
Yeah.
But she's got a broad skill set in her practice. But that was one thing that I remember is childhood traumas.
And that's what's different about this pod party. Once we do the actual panel discussion and the Q&A, we want to offer help to people. This is the Jay Gallows versions of an altar call.
Mm-hmm.
I want to offer help to people, to basically talk about, deal with those demons that you can't talk to your brother, your sister, your friend, your mother, your daddy, even your pastor about.
Yes.
Just because obviously, patient and doctor information is confidential.
Confidentiality.
So what you talk about, it's private.
It stays there.
And they're gonna take that stuff to the grave. They're not gonna go out there and tell your business.
Right.
And so this is different than what you would get with people that you kind of rolling the dice with, not knowing if you can trust them with this sensitive information.
Right.
Because I have literally had that happen numerous of times. Just sharing information where I need help.
Mm-hmm.
And you go out there and you're abusing the information.
Yeah. I reached out one time to somebody. It was a pastor. When I tell you that thing met me about a week later.
I got a lot of those stories.
It didn't happen again, and it won't ever happen again. I can't say it won't ever, but I'm telling you, I was so pissed off. Like a week later, it met me back. My business met me back. You can't.
And so, even though you're the host, I have to ask you a question regarding that.
Come on.
When it comes to the trust factor, what did that do to you?
Oh, it obliterated the trust there. It didn't. Okay, again, it was a pastor, my pastor, who told somebody else, who told somebody else, who told somebody else. That third person called me.
The domino effect.
The domino effect.
Gotcha.
So it made me, and they were on their job when the person who called me, heard it. Baby, I was, it made me, from a clinical perspective, it made me lean more toward that side, because now I have legal recourse. I don't know what recourse I could have taken on the pastor. I mean, they're supposed to, but can they go to jail for it? I don't know. So it made me say, just somebody who I have some legal recourse. That's the only person that I will trust to guide me and counsel me. Or, I got family members, I can talk to. My dad's a preacher. I'm just not going to anybody that I don't have. It's a whole different level of trust I have to have.
Well, I'm gonna give it to you straight, and this ain't even no shade, anything. Say publicly, I love on my wife, you know what I'm saying, but I can't talk to her about everything, and she knows that. Like, and
now, what makes you say that? Is it because of previous violations or just a lack
I
of
don't.
understanding?
No,
What?
I don't. There's only so much I'm gonna share with her when it comes to protecting this,
Mm,
because there's still walls that are there. Okay, so let me say it to you like this. Uh,
shout out to you, Carisha. Thank you for and you've been sharing. You doing amazing. Thank you. Hey, Will Brown. A few people on here now. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Continue to share, please. Go ahead, brother.
I had a situation where I dated this young lady back in Florida on and off for like 10 years.
Mhm.
Never had really no arguments. Never even raised my voice at her. I wasn't the type of cat. I shared some things with her in confidence. She shared some things with me in confidence. Well, when life kept life in and I moved on, she tried to use those personal things against me to hurt me. And despite what she did to me, I never once spoke of all the things she shared with me in confidence.
Mhm.
But you talk about the level of betrayal I felt in that moment. Like, I've never done nothing but love on you.
Mhm.
And so, okay, now I'm married. Divorces are happening every day. And I'm not saying, that's the direction, that going anything along those lines there. But reality is, I mean, nothing is forever. I don't know. And
Mhm.
so what happens if this is my head, you know what I'm saying? It may not be reality,
Mhm.
but in my head, like, okay, what if that does happen? And I've shared this sensitive information with you, and marriage is different. It's not when you date somebody like it
It
can
is
it's
different.
it's different. So, and is that fair to her?
No.
No, it's not. It ain't. And I know that. But when I say I'm gonna protect this at all costs, that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? And so, and
Shoo.
she often tells me, she like, you need therapy. Yeah, I finally came to the conclusion. Yeah, you're right. I do. I do. And I'm going to, you know, make provisions to start dealing with those things that um, I showed her.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of men and women, regardless of age or creed, that just still deal with, like you said, that trauma to where once trust has been broken, once that betrayal has reached a certain level, it's kind of hard to come back from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for being a little bit distracted. I was trying to tag a previous guest of mine, light worker Wayne. If you out there, I let me tell you something. He first of all, they meet I know at least once a month, maybe probably more than that. But there's a group of men on the south side and they meet and they talk. They have this circle, like this brother circle, and there's
I attend.
therapists in there, and they really,
Is it on Thursdays?
I don't remember the day, but light worker Wayne, they invited me. I was invited to, I went to one of the things and I was amazed at how those brothers come in there.
You have to dress up, did you?
No,
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 no, no, I'm saying you said it's a group of men, so you have to.
no.
Yeah.
It was, there was, three women there. I
I
was one
got
of the three. Um, but the way that they invite women in because they want women to hear how they feel, what
you.
they go through,
Got you.
um
Got
you know maybe take it back to your home and you can also understand what your man is feeling, what the things that he's not saying to you. And if you see this, maybe he's dealing with this, because this is what I dealt with, this is why I love the way that I do, and this is what I perceive as love. So it was, when I tell you, that room was so powerful and so enlightening, and and it was so loving, and everybody got to speak freely, and there was no, when I say no judgment, no matter what anybody shared or what they went through, everybody was just so open and loving. Lightworker Wayne, I'm gonna connect you. I'm definitely gonna invite him to the pod party. But there's a whole community of men who are focused on the mental well-being of men right here in the Atlanta area, and I'm telling you, they're doing some amazing work. And I hate that I can't remember anybody's name, but my boy Wayne, because he was on the Blowing Bubbles podcast. So, but yes, gotta connect you. Definitely inviting him to
Looking forward to meeting you,
the
Wayne.
event. Yes.
Wherever you are.
My boy he was a guest. A lot of my guests. So because the concept of Blowing Bubbles is all about mental health and coping and dealing with stress in life, I have had a lot of men on here who are in the mental health space. Mario, ah, Jesus, don't kill me, Mario. He's a poet, but he's got a Manifest Destiny is his organization. They have a lot of men's mental health events going around Atlanta. um I am He's a part of that circle now. It's a bunch of guys they out here doing amazing work. So if you don't feel like you can really open up to your wife right now, I'm gonna help you pray over that. I don't know the situation. I don't know
Well,
her,
no,
but
no,
I
it's
imagine if that's your wife, like I just feel like a husband and wife should feel
well,
comfortable.
so it's not a matter of can't. I've come to a place where it's not just with her, and a lot of this here has happened lately, and let me explain that to you. So no, nothing really gets misconstrued. Um, for starters, when you talk about the topic of mental health, it does not mean that someone is crazy or lost
Not at
their
all.
mind. It's
Not at all.
so let's get that out
And
there.
shout out to Shanti Das for the affiliation. Silence the shame. There's no shame in dealing with your mental health. But go ahead, my brother.
So a lot of this here started with me here recently when this physical injury happened. So as a man, not being able to physically get up and go out and support your family, not being able to protect your family in the event that they're threatened,
Mm-hmm.
it takes a toll on you. And so there was a moment a few days ago, whereas 1 minute we having this cool conversation, I go down to my studio and this funk just hit me.
Mm.
And she asked me, she said, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "You wouldn't understand." Because not to say that she wouldn't understand, is the fact that I know what I'm shouldering. And so while I'm trying to figure things out,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, I'm not trying to have this conversation with you right now. You know what I'm saying? Or when I figure out what my thought process is, maybe we can have this conversation. But right now,
Not the time. Yeah.
or I don't even know what's wrong. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm trying to process so much. I'm trying to get back to being healthy. I'm dealing with all kind of politics, regarding me and my livelihood.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I'm going back or reverting back to what I know best, and that's to protect me or look out for me, because I can't do anything for anyone else until Jay's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, Jay's not okay. You know what I'm saying? Jay is not 100% right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's
So it
just
activates that fight or flight response. Like,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, it's simple. I mean, it's a man thing that that honestly, I mean, and there are supportive women out there. You know what I'm saying? that may actually wanna be there. But again, it's like there's something about the makeup of a man's mindset. Like he's built to be a provider. He's built to be that strong tower in the home. He's built to be a protector. And like I said, I'm broken right now. I can't even protect my family.
Mm.
So
So it's messing with your psyche because of that physical
the
condition.
physical has
Is
affected the mental. Yeah.
yes, yes.
So I want to clarify that. So
Mm-hmm.
when I say that I don't share things with her, is pertaining to that aspect. I mean,
Mm.
look,
And that's part of your protecting her or feeling like you're protecting her because you don't want to
you get it.
burden her.
Yeah,
Yes.
you get it. Okay, you
Yes,
get it.
I
Yeah,
do.
you get it. Okay.
I do.
All right.
That- and virtual hug to you for, just feeling like you have to shoulder all of that. But also salute for being a whole man out here in these streets and understanding the responsibility and the duties of the head of the household.
Yeah, but we'll be all right.
I know you are. I know you are. Because you gonna bounce back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's tell the people where they can get your book. Bounce back.
Well, it's gonna be directly on my website, from a website, 4grapmusic.com. Directly
Okay.
from the website. However, the new version won't be available until August 18th, about 2:30 p.m. Once we do the new cover reveal, and at that point, then I'm gonna go on my website and I'm gonna put it live. Uh, so yeah, it won't be available until then.
The 18th,
Yeah,
August
August 18th.
18th.
Yeah.
Listen, if you are in Metro Atlanta, you're planning to be in Metro Atlanta, I need y'all to go to eventbrite.com and look for the Bounce Back Relaunch Book Pod Party. This is going to be so awesome. And it's one of the first events that I get to actually be a part of. And it's not my thing. I'm not doing all the talking. I get to sit amongst some other people who are so dope. And I'm going to learn some stuff. I'm going to grow. I'm going to evolve. And I'm going to do everything I can with every opportunity I have to pour out everything God put into me. So before we close, Jay, any final words you want to say to the people out here in Bubble Land?
Absolutely, absolutely. Appreciate y'all for taking the time to chime in with us tonight. It has been a pleasure. Thank you for having me. Again, super excited about what's to come. Definitely looking forward to the 18th. If y'all in if y'all don't have anything on your calendar, by all means, pull up. I assure you, you can leave there with more than what you came in with. That's a promise. Lastly, I mean, I am living proof that regardless of what you have gone through, you can come out of it. You know what I'm saying? And even if you're in the midst of going through your dark valley, there is light at the end of the tunnel, and that's just kind of where I'm at right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm in just one of those seasons. We all are gonna have those type of seasons. So just be encouraged that no matter what you have gone through, rest assured you will come out of it. Matter of fact, let's walk this thing out together, like for real, for real. Yeah. So blessings. Thank y'all for having me.
Hey, I love it. Thank you so much for being here, taking the time out of your day. This is our second interview in about a month period of time. He is also going to be starring in the play Delivering Our Mail. That is going to be September 8th, 28th, I believe.
September 28th.
Yes, September 28th in Clayton County Performing Arts Center. We got the Bounce Back Pod Party on August 18th. That's next week or week after next. And then we've got all of the other things you can find on his website. Make sure you get yourself in the place. Support, support, support. And also, don't forget Residue, Growing from Crush to Crushing It. My book is live on Amazon and barnesandnoble.com. Get the book, leave me a review. Let me know how y'all feeling. And before we go, make sure you get over there to YouTube. subscribe, hit that notification bell. I got some dope content. Last night I finally watched back my interview with Head Crack. Hilarious dude from Dish Nation. Y'all, he kept me laughing so hard the whole time. Some of the stuff this dude was saying, I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. So yes, catch me. And then I will also be at Live with Carisha on August 22nd. So stay tuned, catch my calendar. blowingbubbles.podcast.com. I'm going to get better at updating my calendar because right now life is life, and then I need an assistant to do all of those things. But yes, August 22nd, August 18th, I will be with Brother Jay doing the pod party. August 22nd, I will be at Live with Carisha. Vito is the headlining guest that night. So make sure y'all go. You can go to livewithcarisha.com and find all the things. She's on Eventbrite too. And September 28th, I will have my face in the place. I got my tickets already. I might do a giveaway for the event on the 18th and the next month for the play. So we'll see. You got to tune in. That means you just got to tune in. Okay. Okay. And before we go, you know what I say? Stay poppin'. Bye.